Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Hello everybody, my name is Zack Golden and welcome to another Starbase Weekly live stream. Happy to be here with y'all today. Sorry we had to delay the show for a day. Had some computer issues yesterday. It's been a week of mechanical and hardware issues for me, so luckily we're at least able to get those hardware issues resolved and got a new monitor. So good to go for today, luckily. So yeah, happy to be here with y'all today. We have Alex joining me. Alex, how's it going?
Pretty good. Hello, everybody. Luckily, my week was less exciting than yours.
I mean, that's always good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we also have Ryan with us today. I'm not sure if he's staying on the whole show or if he's just chiming in.
I can be here if you want me to be here. We'll go with that.
Awesome. I'm sure I'll miss some things along the way, so we'll definitely appreciate any interjections if I happen to skip over some stuff. And then we also have Astro Joe handling questions and donations today. Astro Joe, welcome.
Hello, Zach. Hello, Alex. Good to join you again on the stream, and good to see everybody in chat. Welcome, and let's enjoy the show. Just a reminder, questions will be exclamation Q. You can do exclamation questions, but just exclamation Q will be good enough to get it through to me. So thanks for that. Enjoy the show.
Awesome. Yeah, glad to have you here. I feel like it's been a few months since you and I have been on the show at the same time together. So, like I said, thought you were avoiding me, but Looks like we're good.
I would never do that. Never do that. No, I just had some technical difficulties I had to get through and stop being lazy and do some work on my Windows installation here. So all better now. Thanks, buddy.
Gotcha. Happy to hear that. Well, before we get started today, we are doing a special donation stream. So those of you who are in the chat probably see that up at the top of the chat. But we're trying to raise money for Mauricio to get himself a new laptop. It's survived for quite a long time doing processing all these images over the last few years, but it has reached the point where it's starting to make things difficult and more than likely probably going to fail soon. So we're trying to get ahead of the ball on that and get Mauricio a new laptop. I've actually been trying to get him to get a new laptop for like several years now, but he's always like, oh, I'm good. But it's not good. So we're trying to get a new laptop for Mauricio to help him continue to process images every single week, because it's quite a lot. Those of you who have access to Patreon and YouTube memberships and download those images during every week know how many images it is. I think I want to say this last one was, maybe I'm overestimating here, but I want to say it was like 200 to 300 images. I'm not really sure. I always divide them up into folders, so I never see how many there are. But yeah, so those of you who are willing to donate, we do ask, if possible, to use that link in the chat, the PayPal link, and make sure to double check that, because in the past, some people have tried to just search for RGV on PayPal and end up donating to the wrong place. So make sure to use the correct link if you do that. You're also welcome to donate via Super Chat. However, PayPal is a lot better because they don't take anywhere near as much as YouTube does. It's honestly kind of crazy how much YouTube takes from donations. So definitely appreciate any assistance y'all are able to give, and we will update y'all throughout the stream on that. So I may mention it a few more times, or Matt might mention it as well. So definitely thanks to all of you who help to support the channel and help us keep going. So with that, we will go ahead and get into today's show. Got a lot to talk about today. Lots of movement around Starbase. You know, I almost wish Mauricio was able to get down to Florida and do 2 flyovers a week, because there's tons to talk about down there as well too. But we'll keep it to Starbase today and go ahead and start off at Massey's, where we always start. So getting very close, well, closer to finally overcoming the catastrophe from ship 36 with everything that was damaged on location. Lots of good progress this week, as with every week. They're definitely not wasting any time at all. And, you know, this is one of the few places where we see progress. You could probably do a flyover every day and see some progress down here. So lots to discuss today. We'll go ahead and start over at the Flame Trench, where if y'all remember last week, they had started setting up the new gantry structure down here for the ship QD, and it looks like they've already started laying out some plumbing right here. I think it's just laid out up here. I don't think that's its final resting position. I think all of these will be tilted upwards like that. But yeah, great progress on this. I'm actually surprised that this part of it has taken as long as it has. If we look at it from a different angle, you can see that most of the work is in the bunker, it seems like to me. But even that, all of that stuff was brought out on skids, and they're still connecting all of the everything from the trench to those skids currently. But I think this looks really awesome. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, it looks like they're getting fairly close to buttoning this up from looking about. And like you, I'm a bit surprised that nothing's really left it for the most part yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so clean, the way that they're doing this now. Like I'm as much as it sucked having the ship 36 explosion, In reality, I think the worst thing to come out of it is there was just one less V2 flight. So, one less flight in between the gap that we all knew we would have at the end of in between the V2 and V3 vehicles. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I feel like most of the things that have resulted from it was like almost worth the sacrifice, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a net positive.
Yeah. Sad for the ship team, but great for GSE. And
They're
yeah, they're
having a
making.
bad year.
Say that again.
This ship team was having a bad year. Put V2 behind them.
Yeah, for sure. And let me just double check here really quick. I'm seeing some people in the audience saying that your audio is a little bit low, but I feel like you may have just been a little bit further away from the mic. You sounded loud there for me.
Okay. Matt, fix it. No, joking.
We'll see what they. Yeah. Awesome, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tons of progress with this little bunker. They also, I'm guessing, are doing all the electrical and control stuff inside of here right now. I'm kind of confused what's going on the outside here. I've been meaning to ask you about that, Alex. You know what these are?
Air handlers for
Really?
yeah, they're heat exchangers more than likely for all the variable frequency drives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they just look weird from the backside right there. Normally we actually get to see some of those things before they get installed. I'm sure if I go back a few weeks, I may actually find them sitting out here, but yeah, interesting. So lots going on inside that comms building, which we probably will never see. Well, we definitely will never see. But at least we get to see this bunker outside, and it looks like they got the liquid oxygen line hooked up. The liquid methane line, the methane return line, they're still working on that. And then there's a bunch of other smaller pipes in here that it seems like they're still working on. But we do see some steel down here, which is basically to go in between the columns. So they're at least preparing to put the roof on soon. I think, was at least a bit surprised at first that they weren't going to put the roof on right away. But, having overhead space to actually lift some of this stuff in instead of trying to lift it through the side was probably ideal. One of the other buildings that are in the bottom left corner of the site does things a little bit differently as far as having shoring for the roof before they laid down. Or let's just go look at it really quick, actually, instead of trying to describe it. If my thumbnails will cooperate. There we go. Oh, okay. There's so many pictures from Massey's this week, but I think I'm a little difficult to find this one. There we go. Yeah, so you can see the shoring that they have basically supported inside the building, which, because of all the stuff that's in the bunker, I don't think they would be able to do it quite the same way as they're doing it down here. So it's actually interesting because this may have a thicker roof possibly than that bunker will end up with. What do you think, Alex?
Looking at just how much of the rebar is sticking up, the bunker looks like it's going to probably have another half-meter thick. Sort of like the walls are poured.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. You can kind of see it with the rebar.
Yeah, since they use a bent bars, it's
Yeah, great recovery though. So far, I'm thinking that they'll end up, and I've said it before, but I'm pretty positive they'll end up covering this. Just looking at what they've started to do at the launch complex, I'm got my fingers crossed that they end up covering this. That would just make it improve, protect it just a little bit more. I'm sure you'd probably need some pretty thick steel in order to actually allow it to survive that type of incident. But we'll see if they end up doing that. Let's see. So over at the methane farm, Alex, do you want to talk about this area?
Oh, where to begin? They're finally, let's see, where should we start?
That other image I was out might have been better.
Yeah, they're finally getting the flare stack stuff all set up, unfortunately.
You would talk about the one thing that's not in view.
Right, exactly. I mean, come on now.
Now I got to find one with
As I
the
look at the knockdown drums and the surge tank, so
flare stack in the back over here. Even this one's not the
yeah,
greatest.
yeah, I think most people. I like their for the entry.
You're talking about the flare stack?
Yeah, and just on the tank farm side, they have the nice new railing next to the knockdown tanks.
Are you talking about this one?
Now the two small silver ones.
Oh, these.
Yeah, and then the nice yellow OSHA around the entry point.
Oh, is
So,
that the tunnel that goes over here?
yeah, well, the trench that for
Trench,
whatever
yeah.
reason I thought was a tunnel, and somebody, not saying who, pointed out that I was mistaken.
Hey, you got to be compliant, Alex. Okay, got to be
This
compliant.
is this is true. Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, looks like they got most of this stuff, at least in the between the pumps and the um, heat exchangers, seems to be mostly hooked up.
yeah, it's they. I mean, this week they're finishing up the fill plumbing for the bulk storage.
Okay, so over here.
Yeah, I think they're going to have their fill stations there. They're almost hooking up the. I think they hooked up to the pump supply. It's all sorts of good stuff here, but
Yeah,
don't want.
tons of tiny little things too, because there's just so many little skids down here that all have their own purposes. So yeah, definitely making some good progress though. I feel like they're so now that they have everything coming out of the trench right here, we'll probably start to see them run their all the pipes along this rack over here, basically for the both liquid. Wait, hold on. I think we have nitrogen coming from here too. So
Yeah,
liquid methane, vapor return, and then I'm guessing these are nitrogen related down here.
I'm thinking I haven't traced them. I'm a little confused why they have four
The
basic car lines.
Yeah, I mean, so the liquid nitrogen stuff, as far as they don't normally like to. I guess they did for this tank up here. They would actually have a tanker come and offload just for that one. But I think everywhere else, as far as nitrogen goes, they try and do all of the offloads at the actual nitrogen farm and then send it over to the rest of these tanks, any of them that need it. So I think that would just be this one right here, most likely. So I think that would be that supply for that tank, and then probably a gaseous nitrogen line somewhere in here as well too. But yeah, it is weird. It seems like there's more coming in this direction than I would expect.
Yeah, but they might be collecting the vapor a little bit different this time, besides just a single liquid vapor return. But like I said, I need to trace out more of these lines.
Yeah,
It's finally getting to the point where that's
possible.
productive. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been looking at Massey's like hardcore for several months now. I'm getting close to finishing up my latest episode about the flame trench stuff, which hopefully I'll have out within the next week and a half or so. But then I definitely want to take a break from mostly focusing on Massey's. But moving down a little bit, and sorry, it's like difficult trying to find the right image while you're talking at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 6 months, Zach.
Yeah,
You've been.
you're right, actually. Sadly.
I mean, we're coming up
Um,
on 4 months since it happened. In like 2 weeks, it'll hit the 4-month mark. So
yeah, but I personally have been focusing on Massey's for way before that explosion even happened. So for me, it's been like half a year. But yeah, the liquid oxygen farm is coming along as well too. They have the most of the manifolds set up on the actual heat exchangers, and then still working on the running everything over to this new vent. I think they're going to remove. I wonder if they're going to remove most of the other vents we see around here, and then just send all of them there.
I hope so.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess this is already set up and working, so you might as well just leave it there. It's kind of like the same thing, just smaller.
Yeah.
Without a duct, so you might as well just leave it. But yeah, so got this part of that system connected for the most part, and still a little bit less progress on the actual LOX pumps. And I don't know, this has been a mystery to me since they've started it, because they still have the other liquid oxygen pumps over in between the LOX tanks, and haven't made any moves to get rid of them. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing here.
And onshore, they still haven't. It's not clear how they're running the supply 100% yet to the subcoolers.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on here. So I'm confused by it. Like, I mean, we're not going to go into it too deep today, but yeah, lots of stuff going on in this liquid oxygen farm. Cryostations, not too much to talk about with these. However, if I go and look over at Sanchez this week, we can see the old booster cryostation and the ship cryostation that were in between Mega Bay, or basically next to the Rocket Garden and the Mega Bays. They ended up moving both of those back to Massey's this week. So that was a bit curious. We don't know what happened to them because they moved them after the flyover happened. So we're not sure where they are currently. But it is interesting, just considering that I would say mostly on the booster cryostation part, because as far as we know, there's not really a use for it anymore. So interesting that they move that back here. And once again, I am struggling to find that image that I was just on before.
they've moved 3 stands back to Massey's, which is odd. They moved
What
that
was the
ship
third one?
stand. There's a random ship stand. It's sitting over near the front where they're building that bunker. They moved that ship stand like a month ago. Unless they moved it away.
You're talking about the one that was over by the liquid nitrogen tank?
Yeah, that one.
They're
That one's been here for a long time. This one?
no,
No, not. Oh wait, no, not that one. It was a different one.
but it's
Where'd it
gone.
go? Yeah, where'd it go? Or is that the one that they moved, scrapped, and then moved the parts back to the scrapyard?
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
By the
there it is.
vaporizer.
Yeah. So now they have these two plus the booster cryostation, ship cryostation, all down here now. The ship cryostation is also weird to move, just because of the fact that, well, I think maybe it was just taking up space potentially by the Mega Bay, which is a reason to have it here. So you don't you just leave it there when the next ship's ready. You don't have to transport that stand all the way back to the production site for no reason. So it kind of made more sense to just leave it where it was at. I've thought that maybe they are just trying to clear space everywhere so that they can have locations to store steel for the Gigabay. But as of this week, we actually did find out, which I'll talk about after we get to the production site, that they have started bringing in steel for the Gigabay, and it's not at Sanchez, so it's weird to me that they're clearing space at Sanchez, seemingly. Yeah, do you guys have any
But
thoughts on why they would be moving those cryo stands here?
the ship one, I mean, they built in the new booster stand, so they might just want to continue that workflow next to the station, and for I don't know why, but
You mean as far as making any alterations they need on the ship stand?
yeah, because they were working on it a little bit the last few weeks.
The
Right.
only reason I can think of for that one.
And
The booster stand is like, well, you could modify it to take Block 3 boosters and put new rams in. You could do all of that. But considering the height of the stand compared to the new one, it wouldn't work with that with the height of those QDs. You would have to make a new set of QDs. So maybe they're going to modify it for 30 for Roberts Road. I don't know.
that's
Not
that's
sure
all I
that they
got
would need
too.
it there, though. Like,
But
if Starbase is supposed to be the R&D site, then I don't think. Well, I guess they. Yeah, you're right. They would still need this because they'll just do that for all the everything coming out of manufacturing. So yeah, you're probably right. That is a decent option for it.
I mean, at some point they're not going to fuck chuck everything anymore. At some point that's not going to happen. They're going to get to the point in production where they're going to build it, they're going to put the engines on it, and they're going to cryo it, static fire it, all at the same time, like they do with Falcon 9. At least that's what I figure. Just don't know when that is. At this rate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a reason not to verify, structural integrity, especially on a vehicle like that. I mean, the potential of a failure of a super heavy booster is a lot more significant than a Falcon 9. So it might be worth continuing to do that even after they get, more comfortable. But yeah, very interesting. I guess we'll probably see next week during that next flyover, probably get a better idea of what's going on there. There is some very interesting stuff going on over here, though. So y'all remember that the 18.3 test tank moved down here. So we have the 18.3 and then 18.1 next to each other. And this one, they did test a few times. I don't think it was this week. It was the week before. At least 3 crowd tests, I want to say. So now they've begun making alterations to the actual can crusher stand. So we have seen over the past few weeks that there was a bunch of random steel, structural steel components laying down in this area. And of course, they're not within view in here, and I'm not going to search through all those images to find it. But we have seen them start to add structural steel onto the side of the can crusher, which is clearly a support structure for something else. Do you guys have any ideas on this? I'm guessing probably related to the grid fins more than likely.
That's yeah. I don't know what else you'd use it for.
It's kind of bizarre, especially the outringers or riggers.
Yeah, so you're talking about I guess I am gonna have to find another image. Let's see.
The black steel in the shadows right there, like the one they attached. It's similar piece. Or
Are you talking about these down here?
yeah,
This,
yeah. It's a single, not the pair.
and they mounted those down here somewhere.
Yep, that's one of them, which is in line with one of the grid fins.
Yeah, it's weird that I mean, if they are doing grid fins, it's weird that it's not just the same 3 of these.
Right.
So they're definitely doing something different down here. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. So the grid fins are so much bigger now. They're 50% larger, so they'll stick out a pretty good distance. I I mean, I guess it makes sense that you definitely need to test the enclosures for those to make sure they're going to handle, um, handle that extra torque that they're going to be experiencing compared to the version 3 or the version 2 boosters. Um, it's weird to me though that we still haven't seen preparations to test the actual interstage.
Right. I
I
mean,
just,
oh, go on, Ryan.
I would say, I just have a feeling I don't think that's going to be on this test tank, but that's just my feeling.
Yeah. So we did see them start to add some other components onto this though, right? There was the little, what do you call them? The clevis brackets down here. Did
Mhm.
they start switching some of those out?
They replaced, I think, most of them over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so
So
these brackets down here were the hydraulic actuators for that can crusher were mounted originally. So they redid all of these.
yeah, there's another row of them just above the OG ones.
Okay. So maybe that is preparation in that case for using the can crusher cap in that case. Um, so I do
It would
wonder
be.
if we'll see them move that over at some point.
I think they have to if they're doing any sort of grid fin testing, so that they're pulling down and not depending on the welded surface where it's attached on the bottom.
Yeah. I
Sort
mean,
of.
that's the interesting thing with the grid fins, though. You're going to be, you want to push up on them, right?
Yeah. So you'd need the cap just to counteract
Oh,
that force.
yeah, that makes sense. Right.
Because, I mean, the only thing I could think for the grid fins is one, they're socketed in the tank, and I don't know how they're braced internally since
Right.
the dome is gone, axis is
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. I have
Yeah.
this feeling there's this nice truss structure that's in there that binds the three together and hooks into that dome in some way, shape, or form. Who knows what it looks like?
Yeah, this is interesting though. I mean, I'm glad that the can crusher is still in action because I did think for the longest time that they were going to scrap it, but pretty versatile structure, I guess, considering they can just put it in a new configuration and use it for different tests. Um, I'm sure it's probably interesting trying to figure out how to use this for different tests that you need to do on new vehicles, considering it's not designed originally with these on here. So, yeah, I mean, the good thing is though, having a second stand to do this on prevents them from having to retrofit everything in here right now, which I'm sure they probably have other tests coming up soon. We still have the ship test articles, or at least one so far that we know of, 39.1, which we haven't seen much progress on. I think we're waiting on an aft section for that test tank. But yeah, definitely an important thing right now as far as determining how long of a break we're going to see in between flights 11 and 12. Um, getting getting everything structurally qualified on the V3 booster and ship, actually building the first V3 booster and ship, and finishing the launch pad, and also finishing repairs at Massey's, all items that are competing for being the one to delay the next launch the least. Or not the next launch, the launch after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting though. We're gonna have to keep our eyes on that. Um, and they already have. I was looking at some pictures from some ground photos posted yesterday, and it looks like they've actually even done more work on that currently. So we'll be able to probably make more out of it next week.
Yeah, it's starting to rise up with some Caesar shots yesterday.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I did see those.
other frame.
These
Those
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like a little little cross beam up here. That's part of that as well too. So
Yeah. It's tying those legs together.
right.
Or
Yeah, it's weird because like it's hard to see this specific bracket right here, like from any angle. It's really hard to actually see what that looks like.
yeah.
Oh, but from this angle, you can see those those clevis brackets we were talking about. So these are the original ones, and then there's another row of them above, right here. I feel like this conversion could have been happening like weeks ago, months ago.
It does for me. I mean, I think they did lose some time with testing the booster aft because the ship 36 exploded and kind of shut down Massey's for a good chunk for a little bit of time. But as for Block 3 testing as a whole, I don't think that actually slowed them down at all. I don't know if Block 2 having the issues that it did slowed them down at all either. I just think it's taken them this long to come up with all this stuff because of how new all the hardware is. Like they first
Yeah.
had to come up with the tooling to build that hardware. They had to design the new vehicle, get it through critical design review, then come up with a way to test everything. Like I think it really just is taking a long time to test everything that's new, and it's gonna be a while. I truly think I don't think Block 3 flies until March, April at this rate, or later.
Yeah,
Whoa, that's aggressive. I'm not thinking it's that far out, but definitely not before the end of the year. If you were to ask me my prediction, I don't know. I just think that. Well, I'm just surprised that the same time they started modifying this test stand that they didn't start doing this one. It makes it seem like a little bit more last minute as far as thinking they were going to be able to use this test stand, and I guess maybe preparing to do some modifications to this, versus being forced to do it over here. But yeah, I mean, it is a sign of things being slightly delayed, and even more than that, the fact that we haven't seen the ship test article come out yet is even more interesting. So,
well, with the ship, if they put it in the Super Crusher, the entire aft end will have to be reconfigured because it has the
for this,
30. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything about it is for a booster right now, from the hold down clamps to the actuators underneath or the puck.
yeah, honestly, I think it might be easier to test the ship over here. Do you
Well, it's
just
gonna be
swap
kind
out
of
the ring?
hard. It'll be kind of hard to reconfigure that though. I mean,
It's just a ring mounted on top of the old booster clamps. I feel like they could just make a new ring to interface with the ship.
it could.
Yeah, I think there's pieces for another well down next to the old bird cage.
It's just they can't do all the twisting and all that other same stuff that they would do in the cage on that one. So
Right.
if they want to do all that, they have to use the cage. So
Oh, they picked it up. Oh no, there's a by the mystery black ring. There's a segment that they weld together for that weld down plate. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we will see something for the ship soon. Um, yeah, interesting. What else do we have at Massey's?
Not a whole lot. I mean, a lot's happened, but how deep in the
Well,
weeds do we want to go?
right.
right. Do we have any questions for Massey's currently?
We do indeed. However, I'd like to run over some support for our laptop donation stream for Mauricio here. I've got a 25 donation from Crane Man who says, "Hi, RGV team. My donation for the laptop and for all you do for the community. Regards, Crane Man." And $50 PayPal donation from Joni. "Here's to the new laptop. Love the streams. Keep them coming." And 25.75 from our very own Jeff for the laptop fund. From Sharpie, $25 for the new laptop. And Vincent, $50 PayPal donation. Appreciate all you guys do. And Matt's for $22.49. Thank you very much for that support, Matt's. We've got 25 from Bass. And Jameson, $10. Thank you for everything you do, Mauricio and team. Hank is Kal-El here, $10 PayPal donation. Thanks for keeping me sane since my wife passed away. You, NSF, Tim Dodd, and Lab Padre. Thank you, Kal-El. Totally understand. We appreciate that. And Matthew Kennedy, Matt, for our very own Matt's, $25. The future will be bright. James for the laptop, $10. Tobias, 1124, nice work. Greetings, keep going. Greetings from Germany. Garrett, 2249. Slow laptops are awful. I know that from experience. Hey, don't we all, buddy? Miklos, $6.44. Thank you for that support. And Lucas, keep up the good work, says Lucas, $11.24. Very much appreciated for the support. We look forward to getting Mauricio some better performance on those. Do have some questions. We got questions that you all had already answered. Zach, you're so very good at that. But if I'm a little redundant here, I'm just managing a bunch of stuff on the back end. I do got a question from John T. Will they add a roof between the bunker and the test stand?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, the pipes, I think for the most part, are below this top level. And Alex, were you saying they were going to add another level on top of this?
It looks like they might
Yeah.
but they do have the pad set up as if they were going to add a second level. But
Yeah.
looking at it currently, it doesn't look like they're going to need one, at least for the main propellant.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I suppose it's definitely still possible that they can just put a steel roof, just steel panels on top of this to, you know, protect what's underneath. I personally would like to see that. But again, not sure how much it would help. So it might be one of those things that just makes you feel like you're more protected, but doesn't actually do anything. Because if you have something land to the side or in between over here, it's still going to cause lots of damage underneath there. So, yeah, we will see though.
Yeah. Or in some instances, make it worse.
That's possible as well.
Right. All right. Question from Mechzilla. Why haven't they moved the static fire ship stand yet? Looks like it just needs the clamps, they say.
Yeah, so I think there's two reasons for that. Number one, they don't need to. So there's not really a reason for them to move it. Installing the clamps, it doesn't need to be moved to install the clamps. They can just put scaffolding up around here and install those. So yeah, I don't think they have a reason to move it, and moving it anywhere else is just going to take up space somewhere where they would rather use that space for other things. And I think another part of that could just be the roof platform. So with the roof platform not being operational at the moment, they can't move it. I suppose they could bring over the LR 11,000 and move it if they wanted to. But yeah, I don't think they just don't have a reason to. So yeah, I think it'll be here until everything is finished.
All right. Yep, I can go for that. reasonable explanation. Chaos King asked a question, would it make sense for SpaceX to do a 60-second static fire on Ship 39?
Probably not. Just in some ways, there's not a lot of utility in that. If once it gets up to the right pressures and hits steady state, you're not recreating flight conditions on a ground stand.
Yeah, I'm a little on the fence with that. Like, I mean, there is obviously the aspect, like you said, of not being able to recreate in-flight conditions, certain in-flight conditions. But I don't know. I mean, with this will be the first static fire with version 3 or V3 Raptors, Raptor 3s, sorry. So that'll be maybe a time where they do want to do a longer duration test, but at the same time, if you get all that same information out of just doing a 10-second one, then might as well just keep it short. But I don't know. I think it is also possible that the 60-second static fires were potentially always in the plan and not just something they started doing after Ship 35 explosion. Or wait, 34?
36.
No. I'm talking about the Flight 7.
Oh, 33.
Yeah, 33. So yeah, I mean, that'll be something we have to look out for. I think it may be just a new thing that they were always planning to do, but yeah, we'll have to see.
Indeed. All right, this one may delve into a little bit of metallurgy, but see what we can do to answer from Stephen Lewis. Does the stainless steel of the test tank and the dark painted steel of the cage expand and contract the same in the Texas sun?
Stainless steel tends to move quite a bit. It probably doesn't make too much difference since it's instrumented with a bunch of load cells and other things, so it's not just applying. There's a feedback for all of the testing is what I'm trying to spit out.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, good enough.
And also when they fill the tanks, they shrink, and that's probably larger movement than just from ground heat.
Right, and then ambient temperature, absolutely. It's cold. All right, question from Levon. What tests will be done to verify the methane tank farm at Massey's?
A static fire test of Ship 39.
Probably.
Just
Yeah,
go.
I mean,
They don't have a.
they don't
They
have
don't
like
have a.
a real reclamation system for methane, so I don't think they'll like cycle the tank farm. Um, uh, the way that they've done the cryo stations, the static fire stand before, even the launch mount for the most part, is just getting a vehicle on there, and that's part of the commissioning process. So I think Ship 39 will be responsible for that.
Cool. Sounds good to me. I want to thank Nicholas Hedges for becoming a member. We also got a £5 super chat from K Run. I got a final question from Kai Nessel. Question for the ship structural testing. Could they retrofit the old ship cryo stand that recently moved to Massey's? And have they begun commissioning the new booster cryo stand?
Well, we haven't seen anything for the booster cryo stand yet. It's way ahead of schedule as far as being ready for booster 18.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah. So it's ready to go. I think once booster 18 is ready, then we'll see this move to the production site to pick up booster 18, but that's at least a month away. We haven't seen any forward tank sections for Booster 18 start to be constructed yet, so got a little while left on that. As far as the ship one, what was the question? Did they ask if it's being modified?
If it could be modified.
Yeah, I think we don't know about if the clamps have changed, but I imagine that's something that's easy to swap out. Beyond that, I think the center engine, well, potentially all the engines have changed. The positions for the RVACs are the same. I think the center engines may have changed, and the height, the mounting height of the RVACs may have changed as well too. So yeah, they may have to just like swap out some of the actuators for like bigger ones, or longer ones, I guess. But in my opinion, I think they should be able to pull that off without having to completely rebuild a new one like they did with this one, or else they probably would have started that a long time ago.
Cool. Well, I got to thank Nicholas Hegedus also for gifting 5 memberships, and Martin for a 20-pound super sticker. Awesome. And thanks everybody for your continued support in aiming to get Mauricio that new laptop. Much appreciated. I am clear in my support queue and questions queue, Zach.
Awesome. Well, we will go ahead and move over to Sanchez. And for those of you who joined late today, we are doing, as Astro Joe mentioned, a donation stream for Mauricio so he can get himself a new laptop. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's been several years of using the same one and starting to go out on him. I remember when I went down there in 2023 and we went on a flyover, I think after flight 1. I think it was flight 1 that we went up. Yeah, I remember seeing his laptop and I was like, damn, dude, you need a new laptop. And he's kind of been just nursing that one through this entire time. So definitely reaching the point where he needs to replace that. So those of you who have donated already, thank you a ton. We appreciate it. Those who just joined us on the stream, if you would like to contribute to that new laptop fund, you can find the link to that at the top of the chat, pinned in the chat. And then I think it's probably mentioned in the description, maybe. I'm not sure.
I think there's a QR code on the
Oh,
stream.
yeah, the QR code. You can use the QR code, the donation link on screen. So that is probably the easiest way. So, yeah, thank you all for your support. And we will continue on at Sanchez. Not a ton at Sanchez this week. There is some cool stuff with the QD arm going on finally. What? Oh, that's just for the static fire test stand. So, yeah, the ship modified test stand, all of that stuff has been brought back here again. Hopefully we'll see them start to destroy all this soon, because it's just, put the bad memories behind us and move on. And also, I feel like soon we should hopefully see launch mount sections come in.
I mean, they don't need that for a while, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean I guess they're will have to do all of the demolishing of Pad B launch mount, and then also do all of the groundwork that's involved with both the flame trench and mostly the flame trench. But there's nothing wrong with getting ahead of schedule. But I feel like sometime within the next month or two, we'll probably see sections for that launch mount start to show up. There's not really a ton happening down here. They're still working on the transport stand. Looks like they're adding some of the... Wait. Yeah, are these the little balls for the ball sockets?
Booster trailer hitch. Oh, yeah.
The jokes that have been made.
So they're just like resting on top of these. Like these haven't been installed, right? Obviously, I think
No.
So they just set them on top there. I don't think any of them have been installed, have they?
Not that I've noticed. They're dragging on this.
Yeah. Same
Yeah.
same with the actual mount itself, but I don't know. We'll see when it's ready to go.
Yeah, well, you know, as long as the cryo stand's good to go, they can take their time on this because the first time Booster 18 moves, it won't be on a regular transport stand. So I think they'll be fine there. I guess moving down, we haven't seen as many new fixtures for the Star Factory lately. They do have these 2 nose cone lifting jigs, but they haven't started any new workstations. I think this is probably one right here, though, right?
Yeah, that one. They just started this week.
I mean, they've built like a lot of them. They might actually might actually have most of the tooling they need at this point with all the ones that they've built. Who
And
knows?
there's still pallets, so
That's true.
your material.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've been told, they're just over halfway done with outfitting the workstations in there. So they still got quite a ways to go. We do see some other, at least parts for other stands sitting down here waiting. So a few more down here as well too. The mystery work stands for the ring sections that they brought in. I think they completed with like 4 or 5 of these,
Yeah.
something like
Uh,
that. I guess the one exciting thing to talk about at Sanchez this week is the QD arm. So let's go ahead and move over there. I think a side view is kind of good for this a little bit. Well, a little more difficult to make out the details, but you can see they installed double walkway on either side, which is actually okay. I think we can see in this aerial view right here. I wish I could rotate this. But yeah, so you can see the double walkway. So this is a bit different than the current QD arm. Well, pretty much all of it's different. The superstructure is the same, but everything else is different. But we do have that double walkway, and then it looks like, I'm guessing this is the pipe rack for all of the cryo tubing will go in between that. So with the top-down view that I was looking at earlier, it's actually easier to determine that. But yeah, you can see this little edge right here, which I think matches this. So it'll basically go all the way across on the top. And then the cryo tubing will actually go in between here.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a flush ship QD plate again. Bring back ship 20.
It's still here.
I mean, like bring back the setup that ship 20 had because I am. I know I'm not the only one, but boy, is the current ship QD an eyesore to say the least.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. We'll see if it ends up having to change again when they go to the version 4 booster and ship. But yeah, it'll be nice for a while.
Finally getting the cryogenic pipes for the propellant worked on.
Yeah, is that these right here?
Yeah.
And then was there some down here too?
There's right beneath the stand. I think most of that is Massey's there, but there's a too long with the stripped. Which strangely,
Yeah, I thought that, but it seemed like they're too long. Maybe it's
they're
perfect. I don't know.
they're gonna hang out a little bit from the back off the top, I think.
But don't they
But
need to curve down like with the swivel joints?
I don't think they can do the swivel joints with the new vertical by the hinges because that's where they'd have to be. So they'd be pivoting on the that axis.
So flex hoses?
Yep.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll I guess we'll see. They were using this little lot right here for storing embeds for the Gigabay, but as y'all can see, those are all gone. They have finally, I think there's like one section left of the Gigabay. We'll get to that here in a second. I don't think there's much else for us to mention at Sanchez other than our new booster situation with yeah, we got booster 12 back outside. Wait,
That's
this
15.
is booster 15,
That's
12, 17.
Yeah. They moved
So-
the nose cone, everyone.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's not good.
It's not
was
good
that-
that they moved the nose cone?
Some of us like Ship 26.
Yeah. Is this a booster transport stand?
It was a ship transport stand.
Oh, okay.
Was
So that's
the operative word.
was that recently scrapped?
Yeah.
In the last
Was it
couple
big?
weeks. Yeah.
Huh. So they still have the ring wall stand over here, which is interesting that I guess we'll see some new ship transport stands soon.
That's my guess. I am praying and hoping for a booster style stand that bolts to the SPMTs rather than chaining the thing down again.
Right.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably see that soon. We'll know quickly if they scrap this one that's what's going to happen. But I mean, now that that's technically the last one they have, I guess.
There's the one at Massey's, which
Right.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's the one at Massey's. There's that one there, and then 20 is using an old one that's still got the old style bolt clamps, not the actual
Right.
ship clamps.
And they need this one for 38. So
Yeah.
we'll see if they get rid of it after that. Gotta love the iterations of, ground structures. So many transport stands that they've built and scrapped over the years. Never ending. All right. I think that's about it for Sanchez. So we'll go ahead and move over to the Gigabay, where lots more progress on that this week.
If I might address some questions and donations here real
Yeah,
quick
of
for
course.
Sanchez. Cool. I want to thank Rick R.C. Horseman for a $200 PayPal donation towards the laptop, and a William for a $20 donation for Mauricio's laptop fund. Thank you very much for that. Andy Alder, £2 for the Q key on the laptop, just in case that Q wears out. And then DJ Esmeralda, a 2,000 Argentine peso. Let's bring a new laptop for Mauricio. Yazada, got to thank you for a $10 super chat towards Mauricio laptop. And Bo Nilsson, thanks for becoming a member. Question from David: will the SQD be movable to adjust for V3 and V4 since we're looking at it there?
On the tower, yeah.
Yeah.
Based off of the tower, it looks like they'll be able to move it up a set, which will be fun. But that's what it looks like they're gonna be able to do.
Yeah, I do believe that's the leading theory. And then a couple of questions from Crane Man and Missing Tools. Any news on that black structure with the 4 pistons? Anything new with the mystery breakover stand?
Not really. I don't think we've seen them do anything with this for a few weeks now. And I don't believe we have any new theories either. So
I've lost
still
theory.
waiting to learn more on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, just for here, there's a crazy embed right by those.
This?
Yeah, no idea what it's for. Anyway, squirrel.
All right. Squirrel. Something shiny. And quick late breaking support from Adrian Riviero, $100 for the laptop. Always love the shows. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, I will continue on and we'll go to back to the production site. And yeah, so lots of good progress. I guess we'll start at the bottom over here. The last section remaining is this corner right here. So as of 2 days ago, they finished this area, this little T section right there. So that was the main last part of the foundation. But on top of this foundation, as y'all can tell, they're added gravel on top of this, which for some reason confused us at first. But I guess we should have kind of predicted that because they've been doing this with a lot of their new structures, basically having a layer of gravel for vibration isolation. So you have your like 8-foot thick foundation, and then the gravel layer, which basically after you place the or add your concrete on top of this, it's like a floating layer on top of the foundation. And this is something I suppose Alex predicted was going to happen, but not in this way.
I mean,
I guess you kind of win when the whole floating foundation thing, in a way.
right? Hey, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
But they've made good progress on this. As y'all can tell, they did the aisle. I don't think the aisle's floating.
It is.
Well, technically, yeah, it is because there's no piles underneath this. Well, it's not floating over here. That's where it's tied into the foundation. But yeah, so you have the transfer aisle, and then each of the workstations nicely outlined for us. And y'all can tell they got the blue vapor barrier right here on the areas where all of the structural supports will go. So I'm kind of hoping that when they do the workstations, they'll do it the right way. If I don't know if that makes sense. The wrong way, in my opinion, is how they've done it so far with Mega Bay 2. Anytime they created a new workstation, as far as we can tell, they had to like break out the concrete so that they could drop the level of the floor essentially. So like the engine lift platforms basically have to recess into the floors a little bit. And the legs of the workstations are also so like where you would bolt them down onto the embed plates, those were actually covered in concrete as well too. So I think that's like a 6-inch thick layer of concrete after installing the legs of the workstation. So yeah, I wonder if we'll see them do that for these as well too. Like either form that out early or just leave these as gravel until they're ready to actually do that. So like after they're finished erecting the structure. But yeah, pretty cool though. Have they started laying out rebar in these areas yet?
I think that section is poured Wednesday
Yeah.
night.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was poured just before they poured the second to last part of the foundation.
Yeah.
So they added all the rebar and
They
poured
use
that back.
they use a welded mesh since this area is directly under the walls and stuff. It's not going to have a wild
High
amount
end.
of load.
Right. Is that the mesh right here?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's some rebar stubs along the edge, but
Yeah, that is just a really cool progress, and this is something that they haven't done in at the Roberts Road Gigabay yet. So in some ways they're ahead, but in other ways they're behind. At Roberts Road, they have started actually stacking the columns in this middle section right here. So, and they also have at least one tower crane up. And as far as we know, what was that?
They got 2 now up and running.
Okay. Those are those, what do they call them? Self-assembling tower cranes? Like I know they have to actually use another crane to get it up there, but once it's on top of the trusses, it can add new sections for itself, right?
yeah, they're self-climbing.
Yeah.
Self-climbing, that's what it's called. Okay.
And
So, oh, go ahead.
some of the or the mast sections have been spotted already, so we'll probably start seeing a crane in that corner sooner than the next.
Yeah. The thanks to Dave Avery, he was down there this past week. There's a new storage yard that they have. I'll go ahead and just show it on the map really quick.
Different color steel than Roberts Road. Different vendor. Let's go. It's gonna be Star Factory all over again. What?
Yeah, I know.
It's probably the same design though. It's just a different color.
Why?
So we're gonna get.
Let's see if I can find this without using any assistance on the map as far as like road maps. Is this Highway 4? No, that's Mexico. Actually, that is Highway 4, right? I have layers turned off, and I'm not willing to turn it back on right now. But there's a employee parking garage down here somewhere. Why do I feel like I'm looking at the wrong place?
I think you're in Mexico.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay, that was Mexico.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. That's how quickly I found that when I got to the United States. So, yeah, this is the employee parking garage. So, or not parking garage, but parking lot, right there on that little dot, and that's where they get on the buses to go up to Starbase. But next to this lot, there is a big open area right here, which is where these images are taken at. So, yeah, they're basically storing up structural steel sections. I'm guessing they got just trailers sitting down here because they're going to be shuffling all that steel back and forth. And then we also have, they'll probably preload these. Like you got your planner coming out at night, putting everything on trailers, and then in the morning they're just sitting on the side of location waiting for drivers to come down and rotate steel up to the site. So over here in this corner you have truss sections for that tower crane. Well, one of them at least. So yeah, got parts coming in already for that, and I think maybe somebody can correct me. But I'm pretty sure they have another storage lot over here. It's kind of hard to put this into perspective, but this is in between Sanchez and Massey's. And this is another one of their other storage lots. So they have like 3 or 4 storage lots going up Highway 4. And I think this is structural steel for the Gigabay.
Main posts.
Looks just like the stuff at Roberts Road, except in gray.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the steel for this one is gray. All the steel for Roberts Road is white.
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention before, but oh, okay, yeah. So this is all Gigabay stuff right here because these must be those the mats for the rebar mats.
Yeah.
And then this is just the remaining rebar right here. Oh, this is like for the workstations.
Yeah, it's the crank bars.
Yeah, so I'm guessing as they move rebar related stuff out of here, they'll start filling this lot up with steel for the actual tower. And obviously it looks like they're going to be separating that into 2 different yards. So that just gives you an idea of how much steel we're talking about here. But I think that's more ideal for them just because they can bring everything in weeks in advance of when it's needed, so that they're never waiting on anything. I guess the alternative to that is shipping things as they're needed, which we have been seeing for the apartment building. We're in the process of building the parking garage right now, and there's trucks all down
They sit in
Highway
front of
4 next
Sanchez.
to, yeah. And I was trying to look for that. Yeah, you can see them sitting down here, just lined up, waiting. Like there's a ton of them. So instead of having a situation like that, they would rather have just a yard to put everything in and bring things up as they're needed.
Pretty sure
But
we're
great progress on that. Any other things that I'm missing on this one?
not without going in the weeds.
Yeah, right. And
Well,
they
they do have
do it that way
plumbing going into
because
here too, right? This is they did this a few weeks ago. They're starting to get the plumbing going into here.
Yeah, all the mint green is waistline.
Oh, so now we know where the bathrooms are going to be.
Exactly. Around the elevators.
I guess suppose that makes sense. So yeah, the next to each elevator, there's 4 elevators on this side and 4 elevators on the other side. Wait, yeah, 4 on the other side as well too.
it's a lot of elevators.
Yeah, it is. It is.
If I may
I'm
announce a little more
wondering-
support.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Thanks for that, Zach. I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought, but do keep that in mind. I want to thank Martin for $10. Have fun with your new computer. Colin, $128.74. Contribution for laptop. And Patrick for $20. And then we've got Jose M with a $200 super chat. Says, I never chat, but religiously watch the streams. Love the weekly streams. Contribution for the laptop. Thank you so much for that. I think you might have addressed it, but just to bring up a question for Pete's guide, what is the square formwork in the middle of the blue tarp workstations for? Is that the self-erecting tower crane?
The small
Um,
one is.
Yeah, this is the tower crane,
Okay,
right
yeah, I
here.
thought so. Okay.
And then these are for the columns. So there's 2 rows of columns. Basically, they form like double-sided walkways. So like in the, I don't think we can really see them in these images. Yeah. So with the gigabay or megabays, they basically put walking platforms coming off of the walls. Whereas here, the walkways are going to be in between the workstations. So you'll basically have 3 sides of walkways for each workstation, going all the way up. And so it's not like a solid wall separating them. It's an actual platform on each level is a platform going all the way up, which is really cool. And that kind of gets me into the question that I had for both of y'all. What do you guys think the bridge crane situation is going to be here? Because I think these columns obviously have to support the roof. So I don't think you can just have a bridge crane transverse the entire length of this. So I feel like they're either going to have 1 bridge crane per 2 workstations or 1 bridge crane per workstation.
And
they'll
figured
go into the middle. They'll be able to, like the beams will go across like this, and then you'll have each workstation will be able to move into the middle to, actually, yeah. I don't know if they need to do that though, because some of them will. The ones that for the workstation, the engine install stations will have to be able to get into the middle, but the ones that are for stacking don't necessarily need to. They lift the vehicle up, slide in the next section underneath it. Actually, no, that's not true either, is it?
because I figured what they would do, and this is the most efficient use of bridge cranes and also the most efficient use of every single work stand, is you end up having 12 400-ton bridge cranes. They each spans 2 work stands, basically, so you can lift a vehicle with a single crane. Yeah, it's a lot of bridge cranes, but I think it's basically you'd be like the VAB in that instance, because you can swap between bays, and then you don't need a really really powerful one, maybe 120, 180, that spans the entire transfer aisle, so that you can do horizontal to vertical and vertical to horizontal operations. So you bring the 400-ton bridge crane in over the transfer aisle, and then you have the other bridge crane that can traverse the entire transfer aisle, and then you can like lift up, transfer tubes, lift up tanks, um, bring vehicles vertical or horizontal. That's how I think they would do it, which is basically how the VAB is set up. It's almost exactly how it's set up, and it works. So
You have bridge cranes cross each other like that, though? I guess the one that transverses the whole transfer aisle would need to be lower than the other ones,
that's
because you're assuming that
figure.
they'll be shared between workstations like this, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
you
these
couldn't you
ones will be
make
on
it
top,
lower?
and then this one will be
Yeah,
the one that transfers the whole lane would have to be below, I think,
yeah.
because the rails would go all the way across. But wait, would that even work? Because then I don't think that would work. Because then you would, when you're moving, if you're carrying something from here to here, then if those cranes are above the rail for the one in the transfer aisle, then they'll collide with that rail.
That is true.
So, and the same thing happens if you put the transfer aisle one on top, then it collides with the rails for these if it's trying to lay something flat. So, yeah. But I guess the crane, if you're trying to lay something flat, doesn't necessarily need to move. It just, if you get it like right here, then you're basically keeping the top in one position while the bottom is moving out in this direction. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just trying to think in my head of ways that they could avoid having to bring a mobile crane into it, and they could use just stuff attached, but they may not be able to avoid that.
They might just have the large one down the transfer aisle and at the stacking workstations, because currently it still looks like they might side load the barrels in from the directly from the factory into the stack, if those 6 next to it are the stacking bays.
You mean doors to come
Yeah.
in through here?
Yeah, because on the opposite side there's columns in between those, and this they have an open span, and they did the same thing at Roberts Road. Yeah.
These columns, right?
Yeah.
That would make sense, actually.
You'd keep all the
But
barrels out of the transfer aisle, and
right, that would be interesting. But if for this side, if these are stacking stations as well, then you still have to bring them in through this direction. And I mean, it would be weird coming in from this side because they need to actually lift. I was thinking about this the wrong way earlier. So new tank sections would be in the transfer aisle. They lift the stacked section on top of it and then lift those back onto the turntable. So I don't think you could just bring them in through the side onto the turntable unless you used a smaller crane to lift it through here onto the turntable.
will be interesting to see how they fit it out. But
Yeah.
side loading would definitely keep the transfer aisle empty from the general stacking workflow, and then the
I
other
mean,
bays, there's a lot of fitting post stacking as well.
Right. Yeah, and I guess technically this would be a transfer aisle as well if they connect the roof to the side of the building, right?
It's looking more and more likely with the current, and that brings up an interesting point with them redoing this concrete for what, third or fourth time this year.
mhm.
We're not going to see anything coming out of the nose cone haul at least for a few days.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh
the-
yeah, with
Oh,
all the concrete getting knocked in. It's one of those things. Is there's a nose cone and payload bay that needs to go into Mega Bay 2 at some point, whenever that happens. And the only way it can get out is that door.
it could go out and come around, right?
It's yeah, that's a. I wouldn't mind if they did that with Ship 39. I wouldn't mind that. We get some nice up close shots of it. I wouldn't mind that.
Right. But I don't think their work stands that they've been praying stuff out would enjoy going over the gravel.
Yeah, that
Why are they doing this now?
don't it's SpaceX and you're asking that question.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is just like a straight cut. Like they're not going all the way up to the building.
Would they
So
would they want I mean, unless that's already poured, who knows? But would they basically be breaking that up to try to tie it into something on the bay?
They'd probably just put a grade beam and have expansion joint like they have halfway down this building and before the office annex.
That was the only theory I had in my head, but
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
because otherwise, I don't see why they would have. Well, the only other reason I can think of, I guess, is if they're doing the same thing that they're doing over at Roberts Road right now, which is laying a boatload of conduit around the outside of the building.
I don't know if that is big enough for that trench of conduit.
That's true too. That trench of conduit is kind of gigantic.
That's probably the best explanation is, yeah, utilities.
And again,
Yeah.
they might not have to run it all together like they do at Roberts Road because there they are trying to literally bring all power and data and everything over from Hangar X to Gigabay. Here they can bring it from multiple different sources because it's surrounded by other buildings and other stuff. So maybe that's who knows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. I think most of their conduit's coming in right here, right? For all the connect to all the three-phase power. I'm guessing all of this is that.
Yes.
So I don't know if they necessarily need to go all the way around.
They're running
Or
some.
maybe they have one in each corner.
I'd imagine they'd bring it in at
Multiple occasions.
medium voltage. Yeah, medium voltage and have step down transformers
In the corner of the building.
or several places around because it's a fairly large building, voltage drop and all that good stuff.
Also,
Definitely.
wouldn't you do commodities on both sides rather than just having an input on one side of the building, especially for something this big?
Well, the launch site is split into two sets. I think 2 sets of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like pad B's power supply right here, basically. So I have a feeling with the locks and methane pumps don't take up anywhere near or take up way more power than what they're actually going to use at any given time in this building. So
how much power does a robot welder take?
No idea.
That's the thing, because they might be, if they're going to have 6 stacking stands, they might have 6 robot welders running at once. That's not to mention everything else.
Not to mention the stringer welders and.
Yeah, that's a lot of welding. I would assume that probably takes a decent amount of power.
Yeah, we will have to see what they end up doing there. I guess moving on, we did have some semi-decent views looking into the bays this week. Really, mostly kind of just looking into the booster bay to see what they got going on there. But they it's really hard to see, or actually, I don't think you can really see it at all. Booster 18 in the corner over here.
You can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's just the edge of it right here.
And the scaffolding ring at the top of it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so lonely booster in the bay. That's probably going to be one of the last times we see this, like after booster 18's. Well, it's going to be lonely in there for a while, actually.
Yeah.
There'll basically be one booster at a time in there for probably until May-ish. Or maybe two boosters at a time, like one under construction, one doing final outfitting, and then they'll hopefully increase cadence pretty quickly on that production. And same thing on the ship side. We have, we have
Plus,
one ship. Oh, and a test tank.
Well, no, I was talking. Well, yeah, the ship and the test tank in there, but I was also going to say with the boosters is pretty quickly. It's not just going to be one under construction and one being finished off or one full booster. You're going to be having flown boosters in there too, pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling either 19 or 20 will be the first ones to come back.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Hopefully 19. But this has been good, though, because it's allowed them to continue outfitting the inside of the bays. I think last time I mentioned that these were going into the ship bay, but I think these, BJ corrected me, are actually going into the booster bay. So these are basically going into, I think, the front. These must be going into the front right corner.
Maybe.
There's no platforms along this wall, so I believe these are basically this L corner section right here is where most of these are going. Let's see. Anything else from the production site before I move over to basically the village?
I got a question from Stephen Lewis. How do they move things inside Star Factory? Overhead rails?
Yeah, so they have most of the stuff that gets actually moved in Star Factory is moved on carts, so they can move between aisles on the carts, and then anything. I don't think the bridge cranes, I do believe, have access to the full aisle, but I don't think they probably ever carry anything across the entire aisle like that. So more often than not, they're moving them on carts on the ground.
All right. Yeah, we've seen that before. Excellent. Thanks. We do have a another PayPal 25 donation from DL. Thank you for that support for the laptop. Much appreciated, y'all.
Sorry, I just saw a question in the chat. Could they also be trenching for welding gases? Yeah, good question. So I think with I actually refresh myself on this one. For the Star Factory, I thought where were they storing them for the Star Factory?
I think right there is our gas farm. One of them.
Yeah, but isn't there two of them?
I thought there was.
Didn't they hook it all in to
The central.
that facility, that lovely? Okay, I didn't notice the pump in there before.
Oh, they're are they going to do some Halloween stuff down here?
A bit early.
Yeah.
That looks photoshopped. I'm checking.
Isn't it all set up with that, like, it's like this? It's not really an air separation unit, but it's a couple vaporizers that spot over there in Sanchez.
There's that one, but
Flying way over here.
Yeah, they pulled a bunch of pipes like a year ago, I want to say.
that supply, yeah, that one.
Is that what that is? Yeah, that would make sense. I thought some of this was for the fire system, like to pressurize the tanks or something like that. But they're probably using pumps for that actually in here. Yeah, I guess that other little vertical tank we saw was probably for something else then, or it could be just for one part of the because they have the. This is where the what's that pit called? The press pit is over in this area somewhere.
It should be further down the frame.
Yeah,
Past the
it's
loading
near
dock.
it's near
In the
the
corner?
it's right there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Okay.
But before they put the loading dock in, I thought there was a larger commodities welding tank gas behind Star Factory.
There was something bigger, but
Yeah, that's all natural gas for the bakery, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I guess it only makes sense that it's all coming from that area that we were just looking at.
thank God they moved that tent into the factory.
Oh, feels the same
So-
about ship 20.
So I was mentioning earlier all of those panels that were being delivered. You can see them arriving down here, and they're pretty much, for the most part, almost being lifted as soon as they arrive. Only a few of them seem to be staged on the side of the road, but they have moved on to the actual. So that this guy's still closing up this area right here, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's actually in the process of lifting one, I think.
I was trying to find a better side view of that. There we go. Yeah, so still finishing this little gap right here, and then this one is building the parking garage. So this is a 6-level parking garage, which is
You want
wild.
parking? Do you want
Yeah.
some parking? Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean it's at this point I would say approaching the size of this one. I feel like it's almost bigger.
I think it is. Because this one is going to have 3 aisles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
only a
when
3-level.
you
Yeah.
park along the ramp, whereas this one, the ramp is in the middle, so you have parking on both sides. And actually, you may have parking on the ramp too.
You probably will.
Like that's
Yeah, that's a
a
massive parking
lot of
garage compared to the
parking.
other one. Yeah, this is what you see like in a skyscraper, like a mall. It's a pretty big parking garage. So I guess we were saying before the show, probably end up having half of this, or maybe 3/4 of it, used for access to or parking for the factory, mostly the office, I guess. Whereas the top floor or something like that will be used for residence type thing. So yeah, interesting.
You know what they need to do now? I think it would be really, really cool. They need to make a glass sky bridge over San Martin that goes to the office building from the apartment complex. That
I don't
like
think it
ties into the parking garage. I think it would look cool. Maybe it's just me.
I just don't think it would line up.
It wouldn't line up very well, no, because with the angles and everything. But yeah, it would be practical though if that was, because the parking garage is going to be used for all that stuff. So stay out of the elements. You park your car and you just go on a glass bridge over to the factory. It's just I don't know how well it would line up with the angles.
I wonder. So as they finish this, they'll obviously these cranes will lose kind of access here, so they'll have to keep moving in this direction, right? And then build out this corner in this direction.
Yeah.
So down, and then out here.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, this is still a ton of units in here. I want to say there's almost more units here than there are houses in the neighborhood. I'm not going to count them, but if you guys have access to the weekly flyovers, you can probably see how many more units there are in here. Well, I guess if you consider all of the small house, tiny homes, then probably not. But yeah, still quite a large apartment complex, I would say.
Yeah, they can get rid of all those mobile homes and other things, and move people into the apartment complex, and then use one of those spots for something special if they want to. Maybe.
Oh, you tease.
What? Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
You mean like
What?
getting rid of these?
Yeah. And
That would make sense.
a
Yeah,
certain special something might go there. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, if they end up putting a rocket garden here, that would be kind of cool. It's a perfect location for it, considering that Elon has mentioned that they were going to move it closer to the highway, and that does seem like one of the only worthy places of putting it. I do wonder if they would still need this living space when that's open, or if these are like the first people in line for apartments. I imagine, yeah, all of these little tiny homes are all people who are first in line for units in this apartment complex. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Let's see. Anything else down here? Do we have any questions? I'm guessing we don't for this area. So
Yeah, I'd like to just remind everybody we are doing this donation stream for Mauricio to obtain a new laptop. He's been working off the same one for quite a few years now, and he's always been very graciously denying the fact that he needs to get it updated. But the time has finally come. It is seeing its final days. So just a reminder that we are doing this, and we appreciate all of your support via the PayPal donations, which I want to thank a couple of folks for. Yap Kuipers with a $30 donation for the laptop fund, and Brian with a $25 donation, and Ramses with 95. That would be 100 with the transaction fee, 100 donation there. Thanks for Mauricio for all your hard work. Hope you can afford a fine new computer. Knowledge is good. And thanks Pumpkin Jacks for a €6 super chat. And that's what I got for y'all. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
awesome. Cool. Well, I guess we will go ahead, move over to the launch complex, and we're gonna start at the place with the least going on because I don't know. I'm still not understanding what's happening here. Obviously, we know that ASU is going to be installed here, but as far as what is that? Oh, those are just rolls of.
Good.
Okay, yeah. So they have this culvert going around most of the perimeter, and it still does not make sense. I don't know, Alex, if you've come up with any ideas for what they're doing with that,
The
because I haven't.
Towards Highway 4 is just a privacy / blast wall. We probably had something to keep most of it hidden behind walls, but no, the back trench is definitely odd. 'Cause normally, I mean, if you look at the one they're building in Brownsville, traditionally you have all your pipeways above ground.
Right. Yeah, the whole
Access.
footprint of it is just weird. I'm hoping it makes more sense when they start doing the foundations for all of the other equipment that's going in here.
Yeah,
It's slow though. They're very slow in comparison to the one in Brownsville. That one is extremely fast.
I have a feeling as soon as the foundation work is done, it'll come together much quicker. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're in no rush.
Yeah, if you brought the team from Massey's out here, this would be like 6 weeks ahead of where it is right now. Um, but I guess moving forward, the orbital tank farm also not a ton going on here. They have basically been adding in a few vaporizers on the side here, and also continuing to prepare this for integrating with Pad B. And that really just consists of this one pipe that they added in here. So they didn't actually have these methane tanks connected to the Pad B pump system. They only originally had these two methane tanks, and so by adding in this line right here, this basically connects all of the other seven. Seven plus the unused tank over here connects all of that into that methane feed for Pad B. So that's interesting. Interesting for many reasons, partially just because, they're getting ahead of the ball on that so that they'll be ready to start testing methane on Pad B soon, which doesn't even seem all that necessary considering they had these two tanks already. At least for initial tests, like their first static fire test of Booster 18, I'm pretty sure this is all you would need. But the other thing that it means is that they're, I guess, not going to be getting rid of these, which we were kind of hoping they might.
Alternative, they just put that in for after the launch to transfer the methane from these tanks to the other two tanks. Since that line isn't insulated.
Oh, good point. So you don't think they may just add insulation on there later?
Yeah, they might, but if it looks like they're running other piping to the recondenser from the two new tanks. So
how would you do that? Would you just
pressure
pressurize these tanks and feed it into the other
into
ones?
that, yeah, just put those under a couple atmospheres and have the other ones basically.
Right.
That's what they did with the verticals as well when they were getting rid of them.
Yeah, that would be interesting because like one thing I've been expecting would be that they would get rid of all of these smaller tanks and either bring in more of these or more of these or switch them over to this one. But these smaller tanks really just like kind of take up space because they don't have anywhere near the capacity of the other ones. And just in general, the way that they've got all this methane stuff set up is very interesting and odd at the moment. But that's a good theory, Alex, and actually makes more sense than because like if using all of this doesn't make sense at all. Like I'm pretty sure this is more than enough methane capacity for 1.5 launches, possibly 2.
Probably 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would eventually want 2 launches worth of methane down here, especially when you're using both pads at the same time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're gonna end up doing something differently here.
Yeah, if the docks they had with Army Corps of Engineers, they have methane storage clear on the opposite side in the wetlands.
Over here?
Yeah. Oh.
That would make sense if the entire methane farm gets moved over here eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they also have that's where they have their liquefaction plant and some other things.
Yeah, quite a lot of transitioning we'll see after the next launch, and they actually have started some of that already. So they did remove some components from here. Do you guys know, was it just the dampeners right here?
Yeah, it's just been the landing rail dampeners and whatnot. So can't catch, but it's not like they need to catch at all, anyways. So
yeah, it's interesting that they're removing those. As far as I know, they've just removed the ones off the end so far, right?
no, I think the entire left stick is empty, and the right stick has most of them gone, if not all gone. I don't know. They've taken most of them out at this point, I think.
Yeah, so one of the questions that we're not sure of is what they'll do to transition these chopsticks over into the shorter version like they have for Pad B. So I've been thinking that they'll probably remove anything that crosses over this point right here, which is where how much they need to shorten it by. So basically removing the entire landing rail, all of this, the bumpers on the side, and then I have a feeling they may cut things off piece by piece and shorten it down instead of actually building a new set of chopsticks.
They cut down the ones at 39A.
Oh yeah,
And
right. They did. Okay.
Yeah, they cut those down when they were. Luckily for them, that was just when they were basic structure. There wasn't really much on them. It was still when they were in the very early phases of that. But here they have a ton of hardware and stuff they have to get out of the way first before they cut it. Because like the landing rail, the centering systems, and all that stuff all has to come out first, and then they can cut the main structure, and then they have to put it all back together again. Question is that easier to do on the tower? Or is that easier to do to take the sticks off the tower and do it over at Sanchez? That's the big question, I think, at least for me.
I don't see them taking the sticks off. Like that would I think the only reason to do that would be to just be out of the way of any work going on at the launch mount. But I don't know. I don't think there's a rush to do it because they'll basically have the entire time that this is under construction. So yeah, I mean, I can't see them removing it, taking it all the way to Sanchez for that reason, or even just dismounting them and putting them somewhere at the launch site. They'll need space later as they're working on all the other expansion work that they're going to be doing down here. So yeah, I imagine they'll do it in place.
Plus, I think one of the things they need to do is change out the bearing skates, the skates on the carriage, because I think they had a slightly new design, if I remember correctly, for the new pad. Those should get changed out. I wonder if they can do them like leg by leg or bit by bit on that tower if they were to keep it on. Is that just
they replaced
what?
the skates previously. I thought the original skates they replaced with those longer ones, and now they reverted to a completely different design.
It's gonna be fun to watch, to see how they decide to upgrade this system. It'd be funny if they like start taking it apart and everything, then they go, you know what, we need it off the tower, and then bring in a crane to do it. That'd be kind of funny.
I just see a huge scaffolding tower.
Yeah, like the scaffolding tower that they had at 39A was insane. All the scaffolding hanging off of the chopsticks. So imagine we'll probably see something like that going on here.
Like the scaffolding structure at McGregor.
Yeah. Yeah, so getting started on those transitions, and that's like probably the first of what we've seen so far for the inevitable process that will happen after Flight 11. Currently, they are testing the not the alignment, I guess it is the alignment for the clamps. So you can see the little clamp testing jig right here in the middle. And after they put all the clamps back on after the last static fire test of ship 38, that's part of that process is to retest those clamps. So yeah, getting close to being ready for Flight 11. We haven't seen the booster QD come out. Like usually they're working on that as well too, but we haven't seen that yet. They did have to transition a lot of the stuff inside back to booster mode. But other than that, like they're obviously doing the Raptor chill lines. I think they finished up all the welding on the legs and whatnot. But the launch mount, in my opinion, seems to be close to being ready once they're done with testing the clamps.
Yeah, I expect a full Raptor QD and Booster QD purge in the next few days. And then if they're going for the 13th, I wouldn't be surprised if Booster's out there by the middle of the week and Ship is out there either the next day or day after or 2 days after, within that stacked and ready to go. They've given them. It feels like they've given themselves a decent amount of time to nail the 13th. So
Yeah, I'm certainly excited for that. Going to be sad to see this launch mount go, but also glad at the same time. The more as Pad B has continued to be developed, I just look at this one and I'm like,
Yeah.
it
it was
my
awesome
whole
though. The Raptor QDs, like that's something that, in my opinion, was one of the coolest features of this, and to not have that on the new launch mount is kind of sad. But it's still cool at the same time.
for me, it's like it was a booster. It was a booster test stand turn launch mount. It did a lot. It did its job for the program and its state where it's in. But in order to move this program forward, they can no longer use this setup. They just can't. Um, they had to move to something a lot more reusable and one that's going to last longer.
Yeah, and on that note, we'll go ahead and move over to Pad B, where they've, man, like I said, it's like a breath of fresh air looking from Pad A. I don't know if it's just because the lighting changed between the two of them or what. But yeah, the cloudy day made Pad A look a little bit depressing over there. But y'all can see they've gotten a lot of the shielding up. There's not a ton left to do. They do still have some panels down here for all of the basically corners or the end sections. And then there's still some panels missing in here. I think some of these will be like special panels that haven't arrived yet, potentially, because they do have these vents that are coming in from the inside. So that'll be interesting to see. They'll probably just put like panels that have holes through them so that this will be sitting flush. And we were talking at the beginning of the show or before the show about whether or not they would end up closing these up, and basically this would be the only open part of the whole building. And somebody was saying that they were going to leave them open. Was that you, Ryan, or was that Alex?
Well, the renders kind of show it, but I have a feeling they'll put like a door on it or something.
I hope they don't leave it open.
Yeah, that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the water will come, like even if the water does come down this wall, it would still end up going. I mean, if this is properly graded, it'll still go to the little retention pond or whatever. But yeah, I feel like it's best to close this up, and I mean, or build a little tunnel, I guess, coming out of it, like a short tunnel, like a duct.
Yeah, that's
Tunnel.
what I was thinking. Like that has an overhang, basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, the rest of it should all be covered soon. Every time we look at it, there's more and more shielding on this thing. So it looks like and they have their stairs on the inside too. So I'm surprised they still have all the scaffolding up on the outside. I think that's just like
It's quick, easy access to get to get to the mount. Because in order to get to the mount through those stairs, you go up through the center, walk through the either QD, and then go up onto the deck through the QDs. So I think it's just ease of access for now. So that's my expectation, anyways.
Yeah, I imagine we won't be seeing the scaffolding for too much longer. Although we did think the scaffolding for the trench was gone, but it seems like that's back now. At least some of it. Well, they have a bunch down here, so there's probably even more down there now, which means they're more than likely done for now with the deluge testing. They did a lot of testing back to back, and I think that that kind of conflicted with some of the work that was going on here, and they're probably told them, hey, we need you to get rid of all of this scaffolding unless you want to lose it, because we're going to be blasting water out of this thing. So now that scaffolding is back. They do still have some work that they're doing underneath here. I think the gap in between, I don't know if we can see it. No, there's too much scaffolding to see it. But
I
there's a
think they're
gap.
working on it.
Yeah, a gap between the bottom of the launch deck and the wall. So they're filling in that gap, I think. And they definitely have some other work going on down there as well too. Difficult to see unless it's from like a ground view. But one thing I forgot to mention, I guess earlier, I'm sure this was probably covered last week. The rear hoods for the QDs have arrived, and they actually look kind of weird now that I think about it.
They're Alex's favorite thing, isn't it, Alex?
Shut up, Ryan. Hate them.
I do it every week now.
Nice.
I know, and you get me. They're not growing on me.
Are they open on like? Are they fully connected on both
There's-
sides?
They're bolted them together.
They'll be bolted on, and they're two halves. They're one in each. Yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of like them though. I don't know why you don't like them.
Maybe it'll grow on me on the launch platform.
I
It'll
mean,
probably look better on the mount itself.
yeah, I feel like it's a natural continuation going from this shape, going from a 5-sided shape down to a 3-sided, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cybertruck School of Design.
Wait,
It's
so
the
actually
Eastern
we should be able-
European Soviet block style. That's what it is. You got
Yes.
those hard angles and corners. Yep.
Yeah, so these are basically right side up currently. So this is basically the part that goes on the launch mount side, and this goes up to the QD side. So I don't know. I kind of like them. Overall, I think it's going to look really good. They still need to add in the large flex hoses in here still. That's one of the things holding them up from installing those. I don't think there's any rush though. It's probably once they're ready to begin actual testing on the launch mount, then it'll probably be more necessary to have those. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the last things to get installed though. Yeah, I expect we'll see the rest of the shielding, especially covering up the pipes up here and along the edges, to be installed first. They still have not installed the doors for the hold down arms. So that's one thing that is still remaining as well too. But they have some sort of hinges in here or something. I don't know if I'm seeing this correctly. Something
It's
sticking out of these.
Scaffolding.
Part of the hinge mechanism.
No,
Oh,
it's
that's
part of
just
the stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can see it there on this one.
Yeah. It gets me every couple times.
I feel like this has got to be one of the sketchiest scaffolding setups ever if you were to actually look at it up close.
No.
It's always cool to me what you can do with scaffolding. Like you just put these rods together, and then just as long as you have platforms that can span across the rods, like there's your scaffolding.
Just say no.
So elsewhere, they are also starting to fill in some of the last of the concrete, which we can see.
Couple of places they got some rebar set up.
Yeah, so this is some of the last on this side of the trench. I think it actually is the last on this side. And then they still have this little L shape in here that they still need to do. But I think they're doing some electrical work down here right now, currently.
Yeah.
Is it right here?
Yeah. And they're digging from the corner. That little digger is for the conduit run.
Okay. Oh, so it comes over here?
Yep.
Yeah, so once that's done, they'll probably fill this in. But yeah, it gets exciting the more and more that they finish that because they start to also clean up the site at the same time. So It's nice not seeing everything just covered in dirt. You actually start to get a feel for what the pad will look like when it's done. Other than this corner down here, which is going to be the mystery for now. But yeah, lots of great progress with that. And did we ever figure out what they're doing with this crane? So,
Derek's gone. My guess is going back to its old config and ship QD arm time. Probably
but
after the flight.
if that's what they were doing, then why did they get rid of the boom? Well, you would think they would have left that here while they remove the derrick.
They're bringing its boom from the storage lot on Highway 4.
Oh, the gray one?
The old one.
Yeah.
The old boom.
Gotcha.
It's like SLF8 or whatever that config is called that they have with that thing. I don't remember.
Yeah, it depends how tall they make it. Because part of it's the S and part of it's the SL boom.
Yeah,
Going back to the config similar to the one at Massey's?
Yeah.
More than likely.
As far as concrete goes, still more down here in this area, and then that completes basically everything on this side of the trench other than this little spot right there and a little bit of wall section that they have left. So finally fully joined that up with this over here, which not really a requirement for moving ship and booster back and forth because they're able to just get on this little sliver right there. But yeah, nice to have that done as well too. The we were talking about before the show kind of their water situation, which I don't know if we've figured it out yet, but maybe we're closer. I didn't think I heard Alex's opinion on this yet, but I think because we have gotten questions in the past about the water supply from like if they're going to always be trucking water in or if they'll have it piped in from elsewhere. And we did know that there was water lines coming to the launch site, but we never figured out what happened with them as far as I know. And man, these are a little dark to kind of show this detail. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if you can see it from this view. No.
It's a view
Maybe this
from...
one?
Yeah.
Maybe this is the best one. So yeah, and Alex, I don't know if you know this. Is this the water line coming up right here?
Yeah, there's two. Any of the blue ones is for potable water. And
So there's two of them in here?
Yeah. Between the blue, where they put the blue riser, and the black tube that they pulled, I forget what high density. And then there's one sticking up that they haven't put the end on by the people sitting in their... Yeah, right in front. They're right by your arrow. You can't
Right
really
here?
see it. Yeah, that's the second pipe.
So then they should have probably well, we do know that they're going to have a water storage location, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see some water tanks in this area that will basically fill those tanks, transfer from those tanks into the other ones, basically.
Yeah, and because they also have water at D2 gate as well now.
Really?
Yep. That one's been there for a couple months.
You're saying to this gate?
Yeah.
It's like right by the guard shack.
Yeah, they finally are putting in the valves. Yeah.
Is it coming over here?
Yeah, in that vault.
Okay.
And there's a second one on that forklift. Right there, yeah. That's probably they're taking it to the other side. That's also some of their water mains excitement.
Interesting.
And one of the most boring buildings ever built, right next to there. What?
Oh, so this is going in that little ditch then? This one?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
There's
Yeah, so I guess we'll probably see some type of water tank over here. I don't get why that's even necessary. Like why they wouldn't just go straight to these.
it
What?
might just be for site storage.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have separate water tanks for site storage, and then you just pipe off into the deluge tanks to supply those, so that the deluge has its supply, and then the rest of the site has its own supply, or its own storage, I should say.
Right.
That makes sense.
And so back here with the mega bunker, it is fully
Mhm.
clad now. I think they've finished the concrete on the roof the day after this, maybe the same day.
I think so.
But yeah, that's looking good now. The easy part's done. They still need to outfit everything on the inside, which I imagine will be the take a long time considering what all should be in that building. So basically everything that's currently running into here should go into that building plus more. Oh, I wonder if this panel's always been off. Is this like the electrical inlet for this?
Yeah. Where they're fanning out back to the tank farm.
Okay. Yeah, so lots of control hardware that needs to go into here. So this will be one of the last major items that we really just won't know the progress of it since everything's happening on the inside. But yeah, important building right there. I imagine that soon they'll probably demolish this because they're, yeah, I mean, they're going to need to run the conduit from that location. From this location, you can see all the stub outs down here that aren't being used. They're basically going to need to go from here to here. So I think they're going to more than likely end up removing this building in order to do that instead of going around it.
They did install a ton of conduit through here for the last year, so maybe it was planned.
Yeah, we'll have to see. When I was talking about at the Massey's site, putting a roof over some of that plumbing in between the static fire stand and the bunker at the methane farm, this is kind of what I meant. And this stuff right here wouldn't really protect against falling debris that much. You can see it's basically where the how
The
you can like
grate.
see through it.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
grate.
Grating.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they would put more of like actual shielding panels on there instead of grates for the for Massey's. But either way, a little bit of protection. I'm not really sure what this accomplishes other than stopping people from looking at it from above, even though we've already seen everything.
You don't need it. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, I guess it
bit
just makes the
good.
site look good too.
Lots of things.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that immediately when they installed this stuff, so we actually were able to figure most of this out before they installed all of that. But yeah, just another sign of them getting close to completing Pad B stuff. So not a ton left to do. I mean, I would say the doors, the shielding, and then their water storage. I think there's still more going on with this right now. They're not done with that yet.
No,
And
not at all.
And that's probably going to get covered in it well, whether it's just grading or shielding. I wouldn't be that surprised if I got it too.
This is the only thing that really seems to be held up by the Massey's rebuild.
Yeah, I'm guessing that everybody who was involved in this is helping with Massey's right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit of a hold up finishing all of this work over here. Let's see, what else am I missing?
Not too much.
Do we have any questions from the launch site, Astro Joe?
Indeed, we do. But I'd also like to acknowledge some donations for the laptop fund from Chris, $20. Thanks for all the great photos every week. Hope this helped towards the laptop fund. And then from Charles, $10 for the laptop. And $50 from Jerry, Computer Fund. Thank you very much for that. SJ with a £10 super chat for the laptop fund. Thank you very much with that. Question from Norris. Can you give me your best guess on what the thickness of the exterior metal plating on the launch mount for 2B will be? I'm guessing the cladding. How thick do you think that stuff is?
Half an inch to 3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
But even more than that, it has a lot of you can see the reinforcement bracing and reinforcement on the back of it. So if you count all that, they're like 2 feet thick, maybe.
Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah, we were joking before the start that you could put, if you really wanted it, you could make this a true battleship if you stuck 12 to 15-inch armor plates on it, and then did spaced armor with the angle. There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that is how they do armor for lots of ships, most ships, military ships at least.
All right. Question from Louise. How much faster can Pad 2 fill up ship and booster with propellant in comparison to Pad 1?
Well, we don't know for certain, but based on the amount of pumps that they have for each side, I think we predicted that it would drop from 45 minutes down to around 30 minutes. But you have to consider also that the eventual booster and ship will have the version 4 will have greater capacity. So I imagine with version 3, even though they do have slightly more capacity, I think it'll still be around 30 minutes or so. So significantly faster.
50% faster. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Faster than Falcon 9. Go with that. Which is
I think it's actually
hilarious.
closer to like 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts because Falcon 9's 35 minutes. Falcon Heavy's like 45, 50, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since we've had a Falcon Heavy fly, so I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be impressive for sure.
Yeah, they
Question
doubled up.
from... Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
never mind. Oh, no, they double up the vaporizer, so their flow rate is definitely going to be quite close to twice what it was previously.
Excellent. Question from Chaos King. What do you think the limiting factor for Booster 18 static fire would be? I don't know if that means what the limiting factor means. Maybe the time, I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of things. The cryo station at Massey's is ready. So once Booster 18 is ready, we imagine that it will go straight there. So I wouldn't say the cryo station is going to get in the way of anything. From that point, I imagine they probably have enough Raptors for it by now, or at least get approaching it with Raptor 3s. And then Pad B, I imagine, might be ready. The question is whether or not this bunker will be ready. In my opinion, that'll be, installing all of those controls, doing all that testing and programming and whatnot, might take a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the limiting factor. This building down here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, most of Pad B will be finished, other than probably the control software and hardware. I don't know if Raptor 3 is ready. I actually don't. I don't think they actually have enough engines right now, but because we've only seen in the mid 30s, but I mean, who knows? They might have the engines, we just haven't seen them. So it's kind of hard to say yes or no on that one.
Well, mid 30s means that, assuming that they at least have one on display here. Maybe one or two that they tested to failure. They probably have less than 5 or 10 left that they need for booster 18, if I had to guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Got a question from Stephen Lewis, not necessarily pertaining to the photos of the flyover itself, but the flight itself. What happens to the ullage ice? Do they let it melt and drain after landing and testing? What about in space after reuse?
That's a good question. I don't think we know the answer to that yet. At least on the booster, I imagine most of it can dump out of the bottom during after boost back. They purge all of the fuel, the remaining locks, so it probably just comes out then, even though it should be floating on top of that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they can probably drain most of it. So yeah, it's without having inside information, like we're never going to see them up there with a vacuum in the tank. So there's really no way for us to know the answer to that, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh no, I saw a video with them vacuuming out Zack.
And we did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Question from Black Eagle joined just now. So sorry if it was asked already. Do you think the mega bunker will house mega packs for backup power like they're planning for 39A?
I don't think they could fit them through the door.
Yeah. That would need to be lifted into place, and, well, too late. Unless you want to destroy the concrete roof.
Maybe. They've never done that before.
I don't think the framing for this building is strong enough to put them on the roof. So
No.
I meant destroy the roof to place them inside the building. That's what I meant. But they totally haven't destroyed concrete before to do something like that. Anyways,
All right. And the question for the OCD building there, the building that needs removing, is it used by Pad 1? So removal may wait until after Flight 11, John T asks.
no, that was mostly or entirely for the suborbital test stands. So yeah, I think they've probably could have gotten rid of it a long time ago. I think the main reason they probably haven't is just so they can do the GSE tests that they have been doing so far. It's probably being run out of that building, like the water farm and all that stuff. They're probably temporarily running all of that from this building. But yeah, that's probably the only reason it's still there. Cool.
All
Any other
right.
questions?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just gathering some donations here from Saturn Man. How wide is the top deck at Pad B with a NOK 25? I don't know that currency. Norwegian. All right. Thank you very much. That was my lovely wifey, Astrogen, translating that for me.
I don't know. People ask us dimensions every week, and I don't know.
It's around, I think, 56 to, because it's a 48. It's about 48 feet wide, the trench, and the walls, well, they flare out a little bit, so now it's close to 60, because the walls at the top are around 6 feet. So yeah, it's right around 60-ish.
All right. Good enough. And some support, $5 super chat from Felix11. No question, just really appreciate your in-depth analysis of Starbase. Thanks for that, Felix. We enjoy doing it. Cosmic needs a refresher question. Why did they go with 2 cuties for boosters?
I think having them together was causing problems with the booster QD. So I've mentioned this in It's supposed to be a 3-part, currently a 2-part, but working on part 3 episode about Stage 0. Basically, everything that was wrong with the QDs there is why they did this. So if you haven't seen that episode, I recommend checking it out on CSI Starbase channel. I think it's like 4 episodes back. They basically, you get explosive gas mixtures inside of the QD, which they want to avoid. So by separating liquid oxygen from methane, you no longer have to worry about that. So I think that's the biggest part, is not necessarily helping the vehicle at all, but helping the launch mount to basically improve reusability.
All right, excellent. And then looks like I will save the ever-present, ever-asking question for last from Jesse. When will we see the first launch from Pad B?
I'm not very good with time estimates. I would guess February, maybe. What do you guys think?
February, March, earliest.
Yeah, considering they don't even have a they don't even have a ship stack yet, and the booster's half stacked, and all their testing and pad is not even finished yet. I still think it's March, April.
I really want to disagree with you, but I can't.
Thinking the same myself, yeah. Well, that is all I got, gents.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for your questions, and thank you for being here with us on a Sunday. I know, sometimes Sundays aren't the best because a lot of people like to watch football, but you could say the same thing about Saturdays. I think there's a lot of people who watch college football as well, too. So either way, thank you for being here with us on the weekend, because I know there's other things that a lot of y'all would like to be doing. So appreciate it all, and also thanks for joining us today, even though we were originally planning for the show to be yesterday. So thanks for your patience on that. Also want to give a huge shout out to everyone who donated towards the laptop fund. If you haven't already and you still would like to, the link is in the chat, and also you can scan the QR code in the top right corner of the screen if you would like to donate. Really just helps Mauricio not have to spend as long as he does editing photos, because his computer just can't keep up with that. For those who don't know, literally every week there's like 10 gigabytes worth of images that he takes every single week. So this year alone, I think it's like close to 300 gigabytes already, I want to say. But yeah, lots of images each week, and his computer's really not keeping up with that anymore. So if we can help him get a new one, that would be amazing. And like I said, thanks to everybody who has donated so far. Really appreciate all of your support. Want to say thanks to Alex and Ryan for helping me out during the stream today, and also Astro Joe for handling questions and donations, and Matt for running the stream. And yeah, I hope I'll see you all next week. I'm not sure if I'll be on next week or if it'll be Stephanie and BJ, Ryan, whoever else. But yeah, if not, then I will see you guys on the week after that. And with that, I will pass it off to Alex.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Ryan. That was a fun show, even though a little low energy on my part. So sorry about that. And thank you, everyone who donated. Ryan.
Yeah, I just kind of hopped in here. I wasn't even planning to do this one, but I just kind of hopped on because I was available. So yeah, it's always fun to get in and talk Starship.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure sharing the stream with you, Zach, Ryan, and Alex. Thanks, everybody in YouTube chat. And thanks, everybody, for your awesome support in getting Mauricio that much closer to obtaining a new laptop. Anything else you wanted to add there, Zach? I see you lighting up.
No, I think I'm just always lighting up like that. But yeah, we'll probably continue the fundraiser next week. So if those of you who are more likely to be able to help out next week, we'll probably have it still going until we meet the goal that we're trying to get. So again, yeah, thank you all, and I'll let Astro Joe do the sign off.
Very well. Sounds like a plan, man. I will echo everyone's sentiments. Don't need to add to any more redundancy, but thanks, everybody. Most engines cut off. Hot staging confirmed. Love you. Bye.